Hi friends, I'm Olivia, the Southern Yankee Stitcher, and I'm here again this week to talk about my stitching. If you are new, this is a channel about cross stitch, and if you're not into cross stitch, this probably is not the channel for you. But I have a lot of friends that do love to stitch like I do, and if you're one of those and you've come back, I'm so glad that you are with me here today. I have a stitching update to share with you. I've started some things. I think I finished some things. I don't think I showed them in the last video. And of course I have some haul and a lot to share with you today. I'm going to start by sharing with you the fun fact. Okay, today I have a little bit of a different fun fact. I was going to go through and just do the president's wives, the first wives, fun facts about them and their stitching, but I did something this weekend and it involves a fun fact, so I wanted to share that with you today. This weekend our community had it's called an Imagine STEAM Festival, and I think they added the A in STEAM was STEM, like science, technology. I always forget what the E stands for. And then it's arts and math. And so a lot of local businesses and colleges and different organizations have booths set up for kids to teach them something. And, you know, they normally give them a gift also. And it might help them learn about new careers and just different things that they may be interested in. There's also a lot of food trucks there and just some fun games as well. And I had participated in it back in 2018, I think, somewhere thereabouts, with the Master Gardeners. I was very involved in Master Gardeners. It was before I had hurt my back and couldn't do as much as I used to do, so I had to stop that. But we did a thing with the kids there, and it was a lot of kids came through. So we were prepared. My DAR chapter decided we would do a booth there. One of the ladies in our chapter came to one of our chapter meetings last week, and she was dressed as Betsy Ross, and she shared some fun facts about Betsy Ross. And one of the things she shared was back when, our country was being formed, George Washington, along with a few other members of the Continental Congress, came to her in her upholstery shop in Philadelphia, and they approached her about making a flag, our country's first flag. And you all may remember what that looks like. It's the 13 red and white stripes like we still have today, but then it was the 13 stars in the circle in the blue section of the flag. And they kind of knew what they wanted, and I'm not sure if they had a drawing, but I imagine they probably had a drawing of what they wanted the flag to look like. And George had drafted up, his idea was to have a 6-pointed star. Well, Betsy asked him how many of these flags he was going to need, and he was going to need hundreds. He wanted one for all of his battleships and, troops, and they were going to need hundreds of flags. So she said, this is a lot for me to take on, but if I can do it, can I make it a 5-pointed star? And she showed him with a piece of fabric how to make some folds, and then with one snip, you open it up and you have a 5-pointed star. So we taught kids how to do that Saturday. So that's a fun fact for you all about Betsy Ross. And these are the little directions that we shared. And I'm going to put those up there for you if you want to take a screenshot of that. Then you'll see how Betsy Ross made the star for the flags. And, They were younger, mainly like elementary age kids, and I work at a high school, so I don't get to be around that age of a child much anymore, but they're always excited about everything. And they loved doing the star. They really did. And I'm going to show you all real quick how to do it. You'll have the directions, but I'm going to show you just in case. And I'll tell you, like I told the kids, you can go home and you can make a little banner with stars. You can do this with fabric or felt. You can make stars for in your Christmas tree. There's a lot that you can do. So let me show you now. I did these upside down for 4 hours on Saturday. You take the bottom of your paper and bring it to the top. I might have to lay it down. You need to line up your corners really well. Okay, so the bottom to the top, your opening's at the top, your fold's at the bottom, and then you're gonna do the same thing again, fold it up again. You might say it to make it look like a hot dog. So you fold it up again. I'm just gonna do it this way. Then you unfold that last fold, leave your opening at the top and the fold at the bottom, okay? So you've got your opening here. And you've made that line, and you're gonna use that line. The bottom right-hand corner, you're gonna bring all the way up to the center of this edge, and the center's marked with that fold that you made. So you bring it all the way up to where that fold is. Then you've got this little triangle hanging down here. You wanna get rid of that, but you always wanna keep this point down here. Your points and lines are important. So you're gonna just take that little flap there and fold it up, okay? So now you have this crazy looking piece of paper. You're gonna fold it again. So your edges line up and you keep that same point at the bottom. Okay, so it looks like an ice cream cone, right? Then, can you see that? It's kind of hard to see on video. That mark we made with that second fold that we undid, you're gonna cut right along that mark. One cut, right along that mark. Okay, leaves you with the triangle. Then you open the triangle, and you have your perfect 5-pointed star. That's how Betsy Ross made the stars for our first flag. So there's your fun fact for today, and it's also, useful. You can make these with your kids. You can do them, like I said, at Christmas time. I had so much fun teaching those kids as they came through. I just can't tell you. I don't know that I would want to do, like teach kids every day to be a teacher, because that's a lot. It's hard. But once in a while, man, I really love it. I used to teach preschool at my church, and I really loved it, really did. Okay, so we're gonna get on with our stitching now, okay? Let's scoot this back out of the way. All right, I'm looking back in my book of days, and let's see, on the 29th, I recorded the sampler video, the sampler parade. But before that, I hadn't done a Flosstube since the 15th. So you haven't seen all this stitching. And I finished up a piece and worked a lot on another piece, started and finished another. And then this whole month of October, I've almost worked exclusively on one piece. But I stitched every day in October, and there were only 2 days in September I didn't stitch. So that's pretty good. I was on fall break the first, like the last couple of days of September into October, those first 2 weeks of October. And I stitched. I enjoyed myself stitching so much. And I had made myself a big long to-do list of things I need to do around the house. And, I'm still like swapping furniture between rooms and cleaning out closets, and I plan to get all that finished during fall break. Well, I didn't get it all finished. I had to bargain with myself like you would bargain with a kid or something, I don't know. But I'd say, okay, you can stitch and watch this Flosstube video, and when this is over, you're gonna put your stitching down and you're gonna go, vacuum and mop that room, that floor, or you're gonna move that desk or hang those pictures. I'd give myself little tasks I had to do, and then I could get back to stitching because I was just really in a stitching mood that whole break. And I thought, it's my vacation, you know? It's a staycation for me, but I just wanted to stitch. So I did a lot of it. Well, those 2 weeks, let me see. Well, not completely. A week and a half of it was all in one piece, which I've been trying to get done, and I'll show you that in a second. But let me get to my finishes. I don't think I've showed you this, and if I have, I apologize. But this Black Needle Society piece, I Am a Custodian. It's part 1 in their Downton Abbey series. It's a retreat in a box. And then they have like an online retreat. And I think I told you I wasn't able to do a lot of that online retreat because just of my work schedule and stuff. So I didn't get to do a lot of the online portion. I hope maybe next time that they have it, I'll be able to do a little bit more. But after my last video, I think I told you that I went to go see the Downton Abbey movie and I picked this piece up and I stitched on it until it got done. And so here's the completed Downton Abbey part 1. The other parts I don't have yet, don't know what they're going to look like yet, but it's like 3 sides is what I'm told. It's like I believe it's called Rhode Island sampler style. And I'm real happy with that. It's in this pretty Downton Abbey bag that we got in our box, along with a lot of other goodies. So I finished that one, and I took a day off with stitching. That was back in September. I finished that September 23rd, and I picked up Scenic Farm. Many of you, I know, have seen this dimensions chart. The first time I saw it, I loved it. The more finished charts I see, the more I love it. I am using I think it's a 32 count, just white linen. It doesn't have a name. I'm not even sure who it's by. I substitute out the Ada that came with the kit. I am using the kit Floss, and it was recommended to me by someone who was working on it. They said if I did anything, they said change out your fabric. I just regret using the Ada. They didn't like how the spots that were unstitched, and a lot of this is very full coverage. There's a lot of tent stitches in the sky, but it said the parts where it's not covered, they didn't like the way they looked. And really, it wasn't very much they showed me. They showed me this a couple years ago at StitchCon. I don't remember the name of the person, but I thought they could have done white stitches over those. It was maybe 10 Ada unstitched, stitches, blocks of Ada. But this has a lot of blends in it, like Dimensions kits do. But I am stitching this 2/2. If it calls for like 2 of this color, two strands of this color, 1 strand of this, which would be 3, I don't do that. I just do 1 of each. So I'm getting some of the, I'm still getting some of the variegation that they want with those blends, but it would be too, it'd be too bunchy. I couldn't get my needle through, I don't believe. But I got a good bit completed on this. I did this whole barn and, what do you call that thing? Holds a grain. Oh my gosh, whatever. I did this whole barn and tree. All of this is what I did after I picked it up. When I looked at these colors for the stone, like the part I love is the stone look. I love stone houses. I love stone barns. Just Love them. Silo, it's called Silo. I thought they looked too yellow. And and they look too peachy kind of yellow. I wasn't sure about the color. I was like, no. But, and as I was stitching it, I still wasn't sure about the color. But now that I pull it out after not looking at it for a few weeks and not looking at it under a magnifier, I love those colors. I'm glad I didn't change it. I thought about changing it to kind of grays for the stone instead of the tans, but that's the color of the stone when you, unless you're purchasing stone, like where I've lived in Maryland and here, when you dig up in your garden and you find these big stones that they would use to make a building like that, they're going to be tan. There might be a few gray ones in there, but most of them are going to be tan. So I don't know when I'll pull this out again. This was a whip go pull, and it was a whip go pull for September. So I did get a lot done in September. I worked on it more than just the 3 days that my whip go calls for, and got that big chunk done, and I'm real pleased with it. It's hard when you get going on a piece that you really enjoy to put it down and start something else. And it definitely was hard for me to put that down. One thing I did here, I'm getting caught putting this paper in. I put some extra floss drops in the bag, and when I had blends, I would mark on it what the blends are. So if I had leftover, like if I only used half of that, I would know what it was later. I had to label it some way and did that. But I'll show you, I found another method that I think I like better on this next project. This next project, I have shown you a couple of times, and it's the Gingerbread Mice Stocking by Cooler Designs. I'm doing this for Elizabeth, my youngest granddaughter, and I worked on this a lot. Here's where I am. I think when I last showed you this, I had like this roof done, but not the chimney, not that mouse, not this, and that's all filled in white, the whole thing. I didn't have the ladder and that mouse done, and I didn't have any of this done. So this is all new. Everything from only this square right here was done before I picked it up. Oh, don't shoot, my cat just touched that. I have not done any backstitch yet. I'm saving all the backstitch for last, and you may be thinking, you're crazy for saving it all for the end, but I don't mind backstitch. I really don't. I think it goes fast. I think it's easy. It's like using the sewing method, which is the way that I stitch normally. So I gave myself a little break for a week or so off of this because I enjoy seeing the progress. And with this stitching that's full coverage and it's so much confetti in there, you don't realize what you're stitching at first. When I'm stitching here, this mouse, and I'm doing that face, and there are so many colors in that face, it may not be showing up great. The sun went behind clouds now, of course, so the lighting's not great right now. But there's so many colors that I couldn't really, unless I was lining it up with the picture, which is only this computer generated picture that I have, it was hard to tell what it was I was stitching, but it just kind of comes to life then. And, with the confetti stitching, it takes a long time. It takes a long time to keep changing your threads. Now, I will show you here what I've done. These are all the colors. And these are the blends. And you might see here, this symbol is 519 and 813. Well, what I would do is I would, of course, pull off a strand from 513 and 519 and 813, excuse me. And then if there was something left over that was long enough that I wanted to save it because it's confetti, you're going to keep using it, you know, then I would go to 519. I always use the top number. And let me see if I can find an example. I probably don't have any blends to show you. I've been using up a lot of them. Well, this is a blend. Which one is this? This is 992 and 910. Well, I just hook what's left over on the side of the number that's listed first on the chart. 992 and 910, I put them like this. If I was smart, I would punch a small hole here and use it for that. This keeps me from having to somehow like get out another floss drop to add just that color and that blend to. This has worked well for me. I don't know if it would work for you, but that's just an idea I thought I would share. Okay. And this is on 14 count white Atom. All DMC floss, except for a, what's it called? Scenic blending filament. And so that just goes like, and the blending filament, I found it's pretty easy to work with. I don't mind it. I can't have my pieces too long, but, and where it's supposed to be like, a lot of the stitching of the icing on the gingerbread house is 2 threads of blanc and 1 of the blending filament, but I'm just doing 2, 1 of each. That's how I'm doing that whole chart, just like the Scenic Farm. Instead of trying to push 3 in there, I'm just doing 1 of each, 1 of each. All right, then I'm getting ready to go to retreat in a couple of days, and I'm excited. Very excited about it. So it is, I'm not going to call it the right name, Bootacular, something like that. The Stitching Kitten in Irmo, South Carolina is hosting this retreat, and it's a Halloween theme. And, you know, I get to see my stitching friends, and the last couple of retreats I've gone to, I've not participated in the small exchange. Really because I didn't have anything stitched in time. I just didn't get my act together. And so I just decided not to do it rather than try and throw something together that, you know, I want it to be nice. If I'm going to do the exchange, I want to put some effort into it. So for this exchange, because it's Halloween themed, I picked out a couple of these Prairie Schoolers. They're called the Halloweenies. And, you know, I know some people are I would think if they're going to a Halloween themed retreat, they don't have any problem with Halloween. But I thought, I know some people just don't like witches. So I decided to do the 2 houses. I stitched the 1 house here. Am I pointing to the right thing? Yeah, it's right there at the top middle. And I felt like that just wasn't enough. I know technically that's enough for a small exchange, but I felt like that's not enough. So then I did this other Halloween house right here too. I'm not quite done with that one. But this is on I think it's 36 count but I can't tell you for sure. The reason I think it's 36 count mystery fabric is because I did 2/2 and it's tight. It's really, really good coverage. So I think it's a 36. This is one of those pieces of fabric I bought in a bundle, either from the bundle at StitchCon or at the Stitch and Thrift Retreat, where, you know, anybody that had these just small pieces, they were all in a bag together, like a grab bag kind of thing, and all different colors. And I was like, I can use this for ornaments, and I have been using them. And this is one of them. So this one is finished. Instead of using the classic Prairie Schooler colors, which their black is a black brown 3371, they always use for that. And the orange that they called for in this chart was 921. But I chose 946 instead, which is kind of a neon-y color, I know. But I did that because I bought this fabric. I got this, oops, upside down. I got this fabric several years ago at Walmart. It was in a little bundle. It had like 4 different pieces of fabric folded about this size. It's 4 different prints, and they were all Halloween. And one was like gray with black bats on it, and one was black with pumpkins on it, and then it had the haunted house. So I thought I could fussy cut a house to put on the back of this house. And I wanted the orange to kind of match. And this is not a Prairie Schooler orange, but it is a Halloween orange. So I did that. And then the other one that's going to have a moon, the other one I'm doing, this looks like it's all black and orange, but the moon is actually calls for a yellow color. And yeah, so I have all the black done on this one. I just need to fill in the rest, and I can do it tonight. I'm planning to do it tonight. I have a couple more days before I leave for retreat, and I'm going to finish these in an ornament style, like flat with the fabric on the back, and then of course stitching on the front. So that was my little finish, and those are going to be for the Smalls Exchange at the retreat. Okay, y'all, I have to get all this up because Mr. Troublemaker is eyeing all the floss right now. Of course, he's on the table because he knows I can't go after him. Oh, goodness. Okay. I had another start. I started a chart for my birthday. I actually saw that another Flosstuber was going to start this on their birthday, and thought I could maybe join up with them, but that didn't work out. And I was like, I don't really have to have a hashtag. I'm just starting on my birthday, and I'm glad I decided to do that because here I am making a video 3 days after my birthday. But I started one of my unicorn charts, and this was a Birds of a Feather chart, Sally Spencer. I have loved this chart for years, and when I saw Colorado Cross Stitcher was redoing these charts and re-releasing them, I was so excited. I was like, I know she's got to do Sally Spencer. She has got to do Sally Spencer because Sally Spencer was selling for hundreds of dollars on eBay. Crazy, just for a pattern. Crazy. So let me show you what I did, what I'm doing here on Sally. One of my other friends, Shelly, she's Shelly K Stitches on Instagram. She is one of the people helping with the Stitch Carolina's retreat coming up in May that I'm helping with too. And she started Sally Spencer, and I said, girl, I'm gonna start it with you too. And she said, I said, because it was a unicorn chart of mine. She said, mine too. And she said, but she's changed the colors. So be careful of that if you like the look of the original. So I was like, uh-oh, I don't know what the original colors were. Well, excuse me. I'm sorry, I feel like that's rude, but so I looked online, and I was on all over Instagram, and I was just Googling, and I couldn't find I was even trying to find a listing of the chart for sale, one of the original charts, but they're not on eBay anymore because they know they're not going to get that price for them, you know. But I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find what the original flosses were, so that I could make sure I went with that rather than the new. And I don't know why Sherry at Colorado Cross Stitch decided to change the colors, except maybe they weren't available, or maybe the dye lots had changed, or she's really good with color. Maybe she just wanted a different color. But I really wanted that original look. So like I said, I was looking all over the place, and people made some Instagram posts where I thought maybe they were Gentle Arts colors. That's the best I could find, that they were Gentle Arts. So I kind of went all the way around the world to get back to the same spot. I took the colors that they had on the new chart. I looked at the DMC. Well, no, I looked for because they were Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works on here. And then they had DMC conversion. I tried to convert Classic Colorworks to Gentle Arts and see what the color was, and Weeks Dye Works to Gentle Arts and see what the color was, to see kind of what it looked like. And I can't tell you I followed that exactly, because I looked at the DMC colors too, or if I had much rhyme or reason for what I did other than that's what I like. And so I'm gonna show you a little bit about what I did. First of all, oh no, you can't be up here. You cannot be up here. I'm sorry. I'm using, my cloth is 36 count Amber Wave by Atomic Ranch. And I've stitched on this a couple of days, and this is where I am so far. And I really like my colors. I had to make some changes though. Now, let me try and tell you what I did. The dark teal color is Weeks Dye Works Mountain Mist. This darker teal on these like leaves here. Gosh, the light's not great. I'm sorry, y'all. The sun's going down fast. Then it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of rose petal, Classic Colorworks rose petal used. The DMC equivalent was $7.58, and I chose that instead of rose petal. All right, you need a couple of skeins of, they called for Weeks Dye Works mascara. I just went with 310. Okay. Then Classic Colorworks Red Ribbon. I pulled some other reds, and I ended up settling on the DMC that they listed, which is 321. Okay. And then the light blue that is used here, which is one of the colors I loved, was Weeks Dye Works, called for on the current chart, the new chart. It was called for Weeks Dye Works Seafoam. Well, I wasn't crazy about the seafoam. It went a little too far green. I had in my stash Gentle Arts Tropical Ocean. Can you see it's a little bit bluer? And I went with that. So I'm not using the seafoam. Also, the new chart called for parchment for the white. That blended in way too much. You can't even see it there. So I went with grits. So this is my color palette. Now, the only thing I'm unsure of is the grits. You can see it better in person, but, well, video just cut off on me because a call came in and I don't know why I was declining the call, but it just stopped the video. So I hope I'm gonna be able to splice this together with the first part because I have almost all of it done. So anyway, these are the colors that I'm using. It's my color palette for Sally Spencer. And I'm loving it. Like I said, the only thing, it's not showing up on camera hardly at all. You cannot see that. I'm gonna have to change it out. Is the grits. The grits is still too light, too creamy. I don't know, I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something different with that, with those grits. So the next time that I see you, if I don't share it on Instagram first, I'll have to update you on that lighter color because I don't know. Can you see it? You can kind of see it there. But you can't even see the petals in that flower. I went back and I put an extra leg, like, you know, I have a full cross, and I went back and did another leg of the cross, the top portion, thinking it might show up a little bit better, but it's not enough. Not by far. All right, we'll have to make some changes to that. I'm glad I did this video because last night I was working on it and I kept stopping and trying to get it away from my bright light, and I even walked in the kitchen with it and I'm like, I think maybe I can see it. I'm gonna have to look at it, look at it tomorrow. And I have been staring at it for so long. And I think that just sealed the deal for grits. It's not gonna work. So, and parchment definitely won't work either. I don't know if I want to go with something totally different, like a very light gray. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with the colors. But let me show you a little bit here, show you my haul, and talk about my plans a little bit. For the first time ever, I have joined a club, and it's a thread club, and it's through Gyron Stitchery, and it's a Weeks Dye Works. I like Weeks, and you get a monthly selection. They go alphabetical. So this month we had Arrowhead. I used a lot of Arrowhead when I made that Rocky Springs Schoolhouse, the one that looked like it was on chalkboard. Apple Pucker, Amethyst, Aqua, and Angel Hair. I don't think that Arrowhead or Angel Hair, would that work? I don't think that'll work either. But we're gonna keep trying. So I got that. Then I was in the Dollar Tree, which is now the $1.50 tree, I guess. And they were just starting to put Christmas out. And I saw these. Just these plain wooden things. They're kind of thin. And I feel like if I'm gonna make something with these, I would put two together and double the thickness. And I know some of my other friends, I believe it was Diana, said that she did that a lot with Dollar Tree stuff. She just doubled them up to make them a little thicker. But I have some charts that I got a while back, and they're from Carriage House Samplings. And I don't know they're really my style, but I like them. And I think at Christmas time, you can kind of go, you know, when you do holiday stuff, you can kind of go away from your, yeah, I'm normally kind of prim, but anyway, I really like these. They're just fun. And they just like remind me of my childhood. Christmas Joyride. Bringing Christmas. And Christmas Time. And I looked, and these will fit perfectly on here. So, I think I figured if I did it on 36 count. Now, these are kind of made with borders that are square. Maybe this one's maybe a little bit darker. So, I might tweak that a little bit. Do the main thing and maybe move some of the motifs around a little bit. So, it's more, I'm thinking it would be like more of an oval that I would put on here. I'd like it to come pretty close to the edge, but yeah. So I was only able to get 4 of these. That's all they had. And we have 2 Dollar Trees in our town, and I went to another Dollar Tree and they had none. They had some of this Christmas unfinished wood stuff, but all the ornaments were gone. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to make a lot of visits to Dollar Tree to get more, because these are 3 charts, so I want to have 6 of these so I can double them up. Like if I decide I want to cover it with fabric, okay. If I just want to paint it, you know, I could probably get away with doing just one, because it's just a holiday piece that you don't put out a lot, but I just want it to be a little more substantial, I think. So I'm not sure when I'm going to start those. They may be just when I get into the Christmas mood, you know, when the mood strikes me. I've gone, in the last several weeks, I've gone to several estate sales, and also bought some things from estates online. A lot of them were from, several of them were from people that I know and co-workers. And you know, I think we're all getting to that age where we either have ailing parents or our parents are passing away. And it's sad that you have that. But and a couple of my friends that were going through this, they had to clear out a whole house full of stuff. It was overwhelming. The task was overwhelming, and I can imagine where it would be. My mom had downsized quite a bit years before she passed. And even then, it was overwhelming. just emptying, her two-bedroom apartment and storage garage. But so I can't imagine having to, if she still lived in our big family home, I can't imagine what it would have been like to have to empty that out. But I told them, I said, if it helps you, if you have any sewing items, I'll take a look at them, and maybe I can buy them. And one of them told the other one, just sell things in bundles. Even if people say, I just want one, make them buy the bundle, then it's gone. So I said, make a bundle. And I did from one of them. I bought a bundle, and I don't have it here to show you today. It was mainly sewing notions and things like that. Two pairs of really, really nice pinking shears. And then like a sewing stool that has a flap that opens up. And I thought I can keep that in my bedroom with my stitching in it. I wouldn't want to leave it in the living room where the cats could maybe claw it. But one of the other sales I went to was like a yard sale set up for the estate sale. And I got a couple of things there. And the only thing stitching related that I got, and my daughters were like, what are you going to do with that? One of them is this piece. Okay, it's just a heavy block of wood. I don't know if somebody made this or if it came from like Hobby Lobby, but I've already used it once. I put packing tape on here, and my cross stitch of Betsy Ross's house went on here, and that was part of our display when we did the stars at the Steam Festival. But that's what I thought I would mount cross stitch on here, and maybe just put Velcro I know, you know, a lot of people use magnets, but Velcro works just as good. Maybe just put Velcro on the piece and the piece of Velcro on here, and I can change out to seasonal objects. And then I kind of had been looking for something like this. I'm not sure this is 100% what I wanted, but it's pretty close. And I think part of it's gone, part of the top is gone. But it's just a metal like ornament tree. Or maybe it's supposed to be a jewelry tree, or I don't know. But I will use it for an ornament tree. And I thought I might even make some, you know, in the future, make some more ornaments that are small and have short, like, hangers on them. So it would hang on this easily. I have a lot of patriotic ornaments, but I'd have to, again, shorten the hangers, but I could tie a bow and make the hanger shorter. So anyway, I just thought that would be easy. It's weighted, it's heavy on the bottom. It's like, I think it's wood on the bottom. That's about all I have to show you as far as haul goes. I do have one chart that I kitted up and I thought I would share with you. And this is going to be part of my plans. I'm getting, Halloween hasn't even got here, but I'm really getting in the Christmas mood. So maybe doing all that stocking stitching did it. I don't know. But this is a chart from Little House Needleworks. What's it called? My Lady at Christmas. And I saw this on someone's Flosstube and I couldn't tell you where I saw it. I wish I could give you the credit. They did this and it was so pretty. And it's like a little locket that she's holding. I just loved it. I just loved it. So again, I picked out of the scraps. This is just a little scrap that was in that grab bag. Some fabric, I don't know the name of it. And I pulled DMCs and I substituted a green. Let's see. It called for Classic Colorworks Mossy, and instead I have Weeks Dye Works Moss. But those are the colors. I think that Weeks is the only one that's, I think the rest are DMC. And I just think that's so pretty. And I'm sure I may even have a locket that I could use. That would be pretty cool if I could use one that I already have. Because I have so much costume jewelry. That was my mom's. She collected jewelry. And I just couldn't make myself get rid of any of it. She sold Avon for many years. And then she loved going to yard sales and flea markets and picking up costume jewelry. And she's got some nice jewelry too. But if I could find a locket and put a little picture in it just like that, that would be so pretty. If I can't find one, then, I'm sure Hobby Lobby has one. But I want to try and find something that's sentimental because, I'm sentimental about things. So I think that's about all I have to share with you. I appreciate you taking time to spend with me. And I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to this retreat in a couple of days. The Stitch and Kitten Halloween retreat. I'm looking forward to seeing my friend Dottie. Dottie is, I think she said in her last video, she went to England to Mrs. Parkman's School of Needlework, or whatever that retreat's called. And of course she's touring around England before she comes back, and I am completely green with jealousy. I would love to be there. I'm so happy that for her that she got to go, and a lot of my stitching friends that I retreat with, or I've seen at retreats, or I know online went there to that retreat. It must have been a really good one. So, and I think Dottie was pulled off a wait list, which just goes to show you never know. I think it was fairly last minute for her. So I'm happy that she got the opportunity to go, and I can't wait to hear all about it. She's been sending me some pictures, and man, everything just looks so quaint and pretty in England. It's just like, I don't know, like a fairy tale. Probably if people that live there don't think it's like a fairy tale, but it sure looks like a fairy tale to me. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to go, and I hope you all have some great stitching. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, like and subscribe, please. I would like to get some subscribers. I never say that. I know I'm supposed to, as a YouTuber, I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe. So please subscribe if you're not already. And I'm going to try and share some progress of some of these projects on Instagram. I'm going to try and be better about Instagram posting. So if you're on Instagram, follow me there. I'm also Southern Yankee Stitcher there. And show me some of your stuff too. I'd love to follow you and look at your things. Okay? All right. It's been great talking to y'all. Bye-bye.